This tutorial is about how to build the world's easiest smelter. It's made out of big tin cans, it doesn't have any blast or forced air, and it will allow you to melt aluminum or zinc. Some of you will be able to build the smelter without any instructions really, so I'll show you what it is. This is a tin can, I think it's a number 9 or number 10, and it's got a bunch of holes drilled in the bottom. After I fired this a couple of times, I decided it needed more air, and I opened up the bottom with some tin snips just to get more airflow. You can see how they're all in the center part. That's where we want the heat, so that's where we put the air. This is the chimney. There you can see it. It's just 2 cans, same size. They're stitched together with some wire, right there. And then those are alignment tabs, just pieces of tin can that have been bolted on there. And it fits on top just like that. And that chimney will create enough heat. This is the crucible. We put the metal in this. It's just a stainless steel cup. I got it on Amazon. And the lid was just another piece of tin can that I formed over it a little bit and put a bolt in there. The bolt's for handling it when it's hot. You need to pick it up with the channel locks or vice grips or something, because it would be far too hot to handle even with gloves. And here I am, I'm placing the crucible in the smelter. There's already charcoal under it, and so now I'm putting charcoal all the way around. And you don't actually need gloves until you start the fire. So I'm just going to place charcoal all the way around, and that's really why it works. It's in close proximity to the fuel. Here's a shot of the smelter in action. And here I am taking the chimney off. Now I'm going to take off the lid. And inside of that little crucible is melted metal. If you're an experienced builder, you probably feel like you can finish this without any further instruction, so go ahead. If you're a little unsure, you've maybe never worked with sheet metal before or never built anything out of tin cans, feel free to watch as much of the rest of the video as you think will help you. Everything you see in front of us here, that's everything I used, tools and supplies, to build the little smelter. So it's pretty easy and it's pretty straightforward. Alright, since you're watching this part of the video, I assume you're not an experienced builder of things. Maybe you're a maker, or maybe you're just starting out. But all I'm going to do is put a bunch of holes in the bottom of this can. The holes have to be big enough so that they won't jam up. And they have to be small enough so that the charcoal briquettes won't fall out. The tool I've got there, that's a punch. It's a certain kind. You just push it down and it clicks. And it puts a nice little dent where your drill bit's going to go. You can also use a regular hammer and a regular punch. You can also use a nail, make a little dimple with that. You could use a whole nother technique. You could cut up the bottom with a can opener for, any way that makes those little holes in the bottom is good. Now I'm going to drill some pilot holes. So I'm going to oil the little dimples A pilot hole is just a small hole to get you started. It really saves some time when you're drilling. Pick a small drill bit, but one that's not flimsy, not so small that you're likely to break it. You should be careful when you're drilling. You should drill slower when you're about to break through, and don't do it like I'm doing it. I'm just jamming it through there and then pulling it back out. Yeah, you're probably just going to do it the same way I do, though. Okay, now I'm going to drill the main holes. I've got a little small pilot hole in every one of those places, so I'm putting a little oil on it. And this drill bit was picked partly by convenience. Just happened to be a large drill bit that I had, and you get to see some more sloppy drilling. Anytime you have those jagged bits when you're done, the little bits of pulled up metal, that's because you broke through too fast, and so you need to slow down and be more careful. Or do what I did and pull them off with a pair of pliers afterwards. Now I'm just going to tap down all the loose bits of metal, and that's pretty much the end of it. It's just a bunch of holes in the bottom of a big tin can. Now I went back later and decided I wanted more airflow, so I'm just going to connect the dots here with some tin snips, and just, it's pretty straightforward. The main thing is to avoid cutting yourself on the jagged metal. It's really an operation where you should be wearing gloves. With experience, you learn how to touch the metal without cutting yourself so much. But probably not a bad idea to wear gloves either. Now remember, the crucible is just a 16-ounce stainless steel cup. Most cups are made out of 18/8 stainless, which is just fine. And all we really have to do is fabricate a lid. I saved one of the lids from the tin cans, and there's not much need for narration at this part of it. If you feel like it'll help you to watch this part of the video, just go ahead and watch me make the lid. Okay, so now we're starting the chimney, and the two cans have to set right on top of each other, and they're stitched there with some wire. So once again, if you think it'll help you, just watch me put together the chimney. So I think you get the idea with stitching together the chimney. Next we're going to work on the tabs. And they're just 4 little pieces of sheet metal that I cut out of one of the tin can lids. Next thing we have to do is just bolt them on. I've got a little 1-inch C-clamp on there holding the tab on. Those little 1-inch C-clamps are just great. If you stop by Harbor Freight, pick up a handful of them. They're really nice. Now here I'm going to drill a hole without first making a pilot hole. So let's see how that works out. Yeah, barely even a dent. And just like that, we have a pilot hole. Yeah, much easier with the pilot hole. And that about sums it up. We've done the chimney and crucible and the furnace body. So that's pretty much all you need to know, and enjoy melting metal.